This is going to be a very long and in-depth video because I am very technical when I annotate my books. Hey guys, it's Hannah, and today I am going to talk about how I annotate my books. Just to preface this is supposed to be a funny video. I am kind of making fun a little bit, but also this is seriously, 100% seriously, how I annotate my books. So I am telling you how I annotate my books, but I don't really need to be. The book we are going to be demonstrating on is The #1 Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. I have already made one little marking in here that I now need to find. One thing that I do when I'm annotating is if I am reading and I come across a quote that I want to underline but I don't have any kind of utensil to do so with, then I will go into my notes app on my phone and I will make a note. It'll simply say page and then whatever number page it is. And the fun thing about that is I then get to go back to that page, read it, and figure out what it was that I wanted to underline. And to be perfectly honest, sometimes I don't know. Now the fun part about annotating is choosing what to write, underline, whatever with. I never really write in the book, I mostly just like underline and highlight. So if I can't find a writing utensil, it doesn't matter what it is. It is mostly a pencil or a typical pen that you can find anywhere. Half the time if I'm annotating, I am sitting at a desk working. I just reach in and grab whatever I can find. Sometimes, if I have it with me and want to be fancy, I use some kind of fancy pen. It can be one of these like jelly pens. I think this is a gel pen. Yeah, this is the Pentel Energel X07 if you need that information. This is the Bic Ultra Round Stick Grip. That's not gonna focus, is it? And then this is the Bic Pencil #2, 0.9mm, or a highlighter. I don't normally highlight, but sometimes, you know, I do highlight. And so you have a highlighter. This one's a Sharpie one in a bright color, and it's one of those fancy ones where, this isn't gonna work, is it? Where if you look, it's got like the little window in it, so you can like see when to stop. So these are my typical utensils. It's basically a who was there first, and that's the one I use. But then when you underline something, how do you find it again? Well, to be honest, half the time it's just underlined and then it's there. And then if I read it again, then I see it. If I lend it to someone, then I see it. But for the most part, I just leave it be. Sometimes I don't highlight at all, but I mark a passage. Sometimes I highlight and I mark a passage. If I do end up marking something, I use these. These are book darts. These are specifically for Martin and Mrs. Darcy, but you can just get these off of Amazon, although I do highly recommend Martin and Mrs. Darcy. And they are little pins, they're like little darts, and you put them in your book to cover the pages. I shall demonstrate. I have an underlined passage in this book. This one happens to be in pencil, because that's what I happened to have at the time. I also thought that was so funny. It says, I told him that if a man is born in a dry place, then although he may dream of rain, he does not want too much. And he will not mind the sun that beats down and down. I liked it because I also don't mind the sun that beats down and down, because I also live in a dry place. So I underlined it, and now we're going to mark it. So what you do, this is very intricate, Dusty's come down to help, is you take your book dart and you take your page. Now, you gotta pay attention here. Dusty, listen, I'm focusing, okay? Thank you. What? So you have your book dart, and it has a pointy end and a flat end. And what you want to do, you want to take your page and you want to shimmy your book dart onto the page. And then you kind of shove it down, but not so far that you cut your page. And it can point directly to the quote that you have underlined. And then you can ever so faintly see it on the edge of your book. Focus. Oh well. And that's how you can keep track of it. So if it is the kind of passage that you do want to go back and find later, then you can use book darts. And now we're going to do some demonstrating, because if you notice from those notes, those are actual notes from this book. So page 85, I apparently found a quote that I liked. We're going to try and figure out what it was. Here it is. In the final analysis, that was what solved these big problems of life. You could think and get nowhere, but you could still eat your pumpkin. That brought you down to earth. That gave you a reason for going on. Pumpkin. That cracked me up. And so we're gonna underline it. I think for this one, we are going to go with the run-of-the-mill pen because half the time it's that random pen that you find lying around that you used to underline with. So then you just take your pen and you take your book and you hope that the pen works, because if it doesn't work and you have to do that weird like half line thing when it doesn't work, you know what I'm talking about? Then it's annoying. But we're gonna hope that it's gonna work. And see, it didn't work. And did that thing where it only half writes. So we're gonna try again. And we got it to work. And now we're gonna go across the line. And sometimes you can shake it up. You can start from this end and go down, but I feel like you have less control. So I normally go from this end and go down. And then there, you have some underlining. And see, that's what, it's like a little bit bolder there because you had to get the pen started and you kind of taper off. And it's not perfect, but it's underlined. Next is page 104. So the one I liked on here was, and had looked up at the sky and wanted to say something to God, but couldn't because her throat was blocked with sobs and no words, nothing would come. And that one's a bit more of a serious quote. And so we're gonna highlight. We got the fancy highlighter with the little gap in the middle, and you're just gonna start, go across. You can't see it. I'll hold it up. Go across. Now highlighters you have to be a little more careful with because they show up a whole lot more. And there you have it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I annotate my books. Hannah from the future here to show you one more way that I annotate that I forgot to mention. That is brackets. So if the passage I want to mark is really, really long, then instead of underlining the whole thing, which is a pain, I just use brackets. So we're gonna take this little scene in here. Also, I put the No. 1 Ladies Detective Agency in my car, so we're now doing Girl Waits with Gun. But I'm gonna highlight, I saw no choice but to press my advantage. I stepped up and stood as tall as I possibly could, which meant that I towered above him considerably. He was about to address my collarbone, but thought better of it and lifted his chin to stare me in the face. His mouth hung open slightly, and as I watched, perfectly round beads of sweat bloomed in even rows above his lip. That's what we're gonna highlight. So since it's kind of long, instead of going choom, 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 I'm going to go bloop and bloop. And if you look, I just made little brackets right there and right there. That's another way I annotate. So that is it for this video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. I am poking fun, just a little bit, but also like that is quite seriously how I annotate my books. And I just decided, you know, it'd be kind of funny if I made a video where I annotate my books when all I do is underline or highlight with whatever means I have necessary. Oh! And book dart. Get this to work. There. You can see them along the edge. But anyway, so this is seriously what I do to annotate, but also I'm like making fun of myself, making fun in general. I'm having a good time. I hope you have too. Dusty over here hasn't. So that's it for this video. Comment down below, let me know how you annotate your books. Are you like me and you don't really care? Or do you have like a very rigid system with different color codings and you only have one pencil that you use? That just seems like too much work to me. But if you do have that, one, let me know how you do it, and then two, whatever it is you do. Also comment down below and let me know if there's like a specific kind of book that you annotate more. I kind of don't have any standards anymore. Like if there is a line I like in a young adult contemporary, then I'll underline it. If there is a line I like in a nonfiction book, then I'll underline it. It just, if there's a line I like, I'll underline it. Or I won't, and it'll forever be out of my memory, and I'll be like, you know, there was that one time I read a line in a book that I liked, but I never underlined it, so I don't know what it was. So that happens most of the time. I don't annotate a whole lot. It's just when I do, this is what I do. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all again in another one soon.